You're watching the Tesla Life live with your host, Mark Conlon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 400th episode of the Tesla Life. Here we are on the 26th of February, 2025, and just over 7 years ago, we launched this podcast, and man, we are still going, and it surprises me every week. But we have a good time. Boring. So that certainly allows us to do so because we enjoy doing it, and we enjoy talking about the news that happens in Tesla every week and sharing it with our audience. And we welcome, of course, those in the chat room. We thank those for watching all these years, and we really appreciate you being with us tonight.
Definitely, yeah. I'm glad they don't let it get boring. Like, not
yeah,
that,
for sure.
Covered in other shows, get boring, but sometimes you find yourself doing a little stretch. Like, is this news? It is today, but not on this. Not on this
one. Derek's in the chat room first. Greetings, Derek. Thanks for being with us. Derek's been with us a long time, watching the show. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Usually we have a few people in there by now. I started to wonder if we were actually broadcasting live or not. I was going to go check, but we're good. Thanks, Derek.
And of course, with us as always, Mr. Casey Green, joining us from the Mid-Atlantic. How are you today, sir?
Doing all right. So I was just looking at an impressive after I guess it'd be after action report of a Model 3 that survived a semi-truck, but not in the way that my Model S survived a semi-truck. Just getting slid around a little bit. Oh, not that would have crushed any other car, but this Model 3 got crushed. The truck just fell over on it, and
oh wow!
Oranges, and they pulled up, and they thought they were going to have a recovery and all this. So they tipped it back up, and then wait a minute, there's people in there. They cut the doors off, got them out, just like 3 or 4 scratches. Done.
Nice.
Wow.
Car looks like a pancake.
Well, maybe dig up that photo and we'll share it.
Yeah, I'll grab it. And then one of the engineers pointed out that it was because they used a type of ultra high strength steel that cost a little bit extra, but was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it in that case for sure.
Yeah.
And while Casey looks for that, we have Miss Patrick Connor joining us from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. Hello, Tesla Nation. Number 400. This is a huge milestone. I've missed a few. I wasn't here originally. It was Mr. Evan Fusco, and it's too bad he couldn't join us today. It would have been nice to chat with him again. But I'm happy to be here now. This is a highlight of my week. I love hanging out with you guys and chatting. It's cool.
Excellent. We certainly enjoy your company and expertise in the subject.
Thank you.
Well,
I've got it right on my feet. So what I'm going to do now is share tab.
You're going to share it with us?
Yeah.
And we'll see the Model 3 pancake.
Model 3 pancake.
That people survived nicely inside.
Exactly. So we're going to do video, share, X.
This should be a new crash test. Who can survive in a pancake?
Well, they did it with the Model S originally. Remember, you got the 5 elephants, and then it broke the machine. All right, so this isn't the one. We scroll down. Yes, right here. So this is my pinned post. We're talking about a Rivian owner who went to great lengths to make sure that he didn't block 2 stalls, and we appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, "What a miracle!" This is from Roshan Thomas. The strong, hot stamped door ring part of the body structure was structure likely shielded the occupant from such a heavy impact. It was a costlier option when we introduced it in the Model 3 back in 2017, but we firmly believed it was the right choice for customer safety. So then we'll go on to the actual story. I had a customer come in and tell me a story about how they walked away with only scratches from an accident and crash. And it was involved that involved him and his Model 3. The customer was driving on the highway when a truck next to him lost control and completely crushed the Model 3. The officer stated that whatever car he was in, he couldn't even tell what kind of car it was at the time because it was so flat. Whatever kind of car he was in performed better than anything they'd ever seen. Tesla takes safety seriously to the point where a truck full of oranges fell on the roof of the vehicle and the customer walked away with minor scratches. He came back to buy another Tesla. You'd be foolish not to if you get the money.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla, as he fell in love with the vehicle even more from just the safety. This is why I love Tesla and do the amazing things the engineering team and the people there do. It was so nice to see the customer walk away from a crash this bad, and thankful for such a dedicated team for Tesla safety. There's a lot more to this, a lot more in store that the customer shared, but I did not want to add all the info. He picked up his new Model 3 about 3 weeks after the crash. So there it is, after they extricated him to rip the door off the hinge, and there's another angle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That does not look like something you walk away from.
That's what the first responders thought when they came up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's on the scene.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Exactly. And then here's the other side.
Oh my goodness.
It's as tall as a wheel, of a Model 3 wheel.
Yeah.
I went on to say, but on my thread, I went on to say, this is why, aside from financial strain and other factors, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of people selling off their Teslas. The company still delivers on what I got behind 8+ years ago, even if its front man is human. He still has influence for better and worse, but Tesla's day-to-day operations don't hinge on him alone anymore, and the tech, the safety, and the mission stand independent of his extracurriculars. Also, Tesla hasn't paid him in over about 10 years, so...
It's the thing here. So we hear all the time about Tesla doing stuff to cut costs, right? So, but they're not compromising safety and other things to do that. So it takes a really good engineer to cut costs and improve performance or safety or something. And that's what Tesla has. It's, what's the saying? Any idiot can cut costs, but you have to be, Tesla doesn't just use the idiot method, right? They're making sure to maintain so that this can work. And that the fact that they're cutting costs in a lot of places where they can do it allows them to then spend the money on this, what'd you call it? Hot pressed steel that improves safety, right? If you're trying to cut every penny because you're not profitable, then you're not going to do something like that. But if you are profitable and selling the vehicles in significant number, you want to do things like this to make it better. That's awesome.
And then to what you just said there, Patrick, the closest thing we have so far to actually matching Tesla in the industry right now, as far as the car industry anyway, Jim Farley got on X today, and he said that their new, what do they call it, the Model E, the Project Skunkworks, I forget what that division that he's not allowed into is called. He basically said, they're gonna not put everything in that vehicle. They're gonna, especially not a full fat ADAS. Whereas on the Tesla, even if you like Mark didn't pay at all for autopilot, cruise, any of that extra stuff, he still got the full system. And then later on, they offered him good prices to purchase it. I think you got in on one of the sales, right?
Yep.
But just for a basic autopilot, right?
Just for basic. Yep.
Yeah. And so already right there, they spent a lot of money. They probably got the cost back from him. But now if this gets really good, they might get a profit out of it. Like rather than just even on that computer. So sometimes you just gotta make a small investment in yourself.
Just to take it morbidly for a moment, if that car had been crushed and the occupants killed, that person wouldn't be out buying a new Tesla today. So you want to protect your customers for no reason, so they buy more of your product. Kidding.
What did I do? Bought a bigger Tesla.
Well, yeah. So I ended up buying my Tesla after our Prius was in a crash. We were broadsided and it was totaled, and I want a safe vehicle. So that's when I got my Model X.
Yeah.
Jumped on the Tesla bandwagon.
Yeah, and there's certainly safety has been top of book for Tesla for a long time. All their cars are at the 5-star crash safety test award winners. So we look forward to their new offerings doing that as well. But just a remarkable picture, Casey, of that car being crushed and the occupants walking away. It's a testament to the safety record that Tesla holds.
Definitely. And if I can just have one more second. When I was at one of the North American International Auto Shows, so basically the Detroit Auto Show, I just don't remember which year, one of our friends that was on another podcast with us and we were speaking to a Volvo engineer right after the, not right after, but enough after the Ford purchase of Volvo before they flipped them off to Geely and Tata. They had a particular part that they used in the car that cost 13 cents for this grommet to give you like a 4-hour fire rating in firewall. Ford said, hey, the minimum requirement is this. We're going to go a little bit above that just in case it's a hot fire. That part only costs 5 cents. You're going to put this in there. It fits. No arguing. So they went from like a 4-hour fire rating, so let's call it like a 37-minute fire rating or 45-minute fire rating. And thankfully, in this case, they went the other direction with this company.
Yep. Well, let's get on to the week's news and see what's happening out there in Tesla news. And of course, the first one I just wanted to touch upon, it's kind of a fun one that I will share a photo of this. Let's grab that, share, boom. So Belgium decided to have themselves a little Tesla meetup. And of course, once you get a number of Teslas together, you try to do a light show typically.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, these Teslas are lined up on a runway. And there is a few of them. In fact, there's over 1,100 of them, which handily took the record of the most Teslas in a light show orchestrated. And of course, you'll notice that one car on the left has no lights on, so we're going to have to discount him. He's not going to be part of the record. We're down to 10,999. But
although to be fair, during the show, they had this was really, it's not they weren't all playing the exact same light show. It was a coordinated light show, so they had stuff like there was I watched the video. It was incredible. There was a part where Rage Against the Machine comes on. I got goosebumps. It was awesome. But they're doing stuff as notes go that kind of bounce down the line, and so that might have been actually part of the show that vehicle's off on purpose at that moment.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna have to go back to the video and then
I want all 1,100. I'm gonna try to get them all in.
Or another possibility is it like my little car here, where it does the light, only the classic one, and so it's doing the wrong dance.
So if you want to check it out, of course, we put links to the things we touch upon in the show, and you can click on that and view the video yourself. It was pretty spectacular, and I think the runway gives it away as to how many vehicles are out there. Like, that's an incredible amount of vehicles in the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 rows. So
space.
That is a lot of vehicles.
Yeah. So are those Cybertrucks up front?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
And one in the middle is wearing a hat.
It is.
And they had drones flying above this that were also part of the show.
We're on this thing to get Cybertrucks and drones above an airport.
Yeah.
Well, the airport was shut down, obviously, because you don't get that many cars on the runway if the airport's in operation.
That's for sure. In fact, what was it called? There was here. Let me see if I can. It was Drone Alley or something like that. Drone Point. Yeah. So I think this is not a full-time airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the aero clubs where you can go fly your fixed wing planes, and they can do drones there too.
Right. And that might be exactly what it is, where it's a small private airport that they rented out for this event.
Okay, so then it's just a matter of getting on the calendar versus getting extra regulations just lifted.
Renting the space, most likely. Next for Tesla, we've been kind of hearing about this in the media for the past week or so. The sales figures for Europe were released for January of 2025, and there has been indeed a sales dip in vehicles being sold for Tesla. In fact, a 45% dip in year-over-year figures for January. So That's not great news, but
Nope.
it is something that is the reality at this particular point in time. Of course, trends are, they certainly fluctuate as buying situations are out there, interest rates, the state of the economy, how much vehicles are being sold for, rebates, all those things factor in to overall figures. But it is interesting to see that we have been seeing lately that sales figures have been on the decline, notably here also in Canada. But that seems to be due to the fact that we just lost our rebate recently. So that's going to play heavy on car sales here in Canada. So I'm expecting the first quarter in Canada, at least, as well as the European Union at this point, that sales figures are probably going to be down for the first quarter.
Yeah, and Q1 is seasonally low, so that's kind of normal. But then they were comparing how other EV sales are up, so Tesla is an outlier in going the wrong direction. But I do want to point out that this was sort of expected for this quarter because the introduction of Juniper. The Model Y is their best-selling vehicle. We talked about how starting at the end of last year, they were really pushing to get those sales off the lots, and at that point, because you don't want to have both vehicles at the same time, otherwise you have to heavily discount the old ones to move them.
That's
so
right.
That means they purposely ran their pipeline dry as they could, which so that means in January specifically, they're going to not be producing the new one yet, and at least not in volume, and they don't have a lot of the old ones left because they were pushing those out at the end of the year. So this slump is kind of expected, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely something to keep in mind when you're looking at these figures, and these figures will continue to come in as of today. I believe the Model Y Juniper was released in China, but they've brought it out just a couple days early from their planned March debut, but the other plants, of course, in Fremont and in Austin and in Berlin, all are trying to gear up and release the Model Y Juniper as well. So Europe is probably next that will actually get them out the door to customers after China. And then after that, my guess would be Texas and then Fremont, or very close together, Fremont and Texas, because releasing them in the U.S. could be a little bit of a nightmare if you're ordering a Model Y and you're definitely not going to take the old one. You want the new one regardless. So then it becomes a question of, well, that means you have to order from Texas. That could be the case. But I probably would believe that in the U.S., they're probably going to try to get Fremont and Texas to release at the same time, or they'll just stop making it at one of them, and the other one will make up for the volume by producing just Junipers going forward.
Yeah.
What's the joke, Casey? I didn't get it.
So I said that the Fremont could trail behind by making only Model 3s while they do their changeover. But before that,
okay.
I said that if you're Chevy, you can make classics. So you remember during the
classic, yes.
Malibu, you had the new Malibu, and it was called that, the new Malibu. And then you had the one they were already building called the Malibu Classic. And
hey, if it's good enough for Coca-Cola, man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That reminds me of Coca-Cola for sure.
It's probably the same reason, though. They probably had one plant making the new one and another plant still making the old one, and had a surplus of parts. I said, well, what's one more year? Just put all the options on them all and call them classic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next story. Talk a little
more thing on that. So it's not unheard of for them to have a dip in the first quarter. I think it's been a long time since it's been so big of a dip, though.
Yeah. Next, wanted to talk a little bit about CyberCab, and again, we've talked about this previously, and it looks like there is an option for the CyberCab, obviously, to have some sort of steering wheel in it, because recently at Giga Texas, it was spotted on one of its runs, and the camera from the drone got close enough that they could actually see that the driver actually did have a steering wheel and was affecting the turning of the wheels by turning the wheel on the inside. So we know that CyberCab's been going through a lot of testing at Giga Texas. Obviously, it's a big campus, a big factory to drive around, and they're taking full use of that by keeping it off of public roads, but having a lot of roads to drive on, to signal on, to make stops, stop signs, and so forth. So this is not a surprise, but it is interesting that we've talked about on the release of the Cybercab that would there really be an option to put a steering wheel in? And if you do have a safety driver in there and he is affecting the wheels moving, so obviously there is a way to make that Cybercab have a steering wheel. Now, of course, we don't know whether it's a special Cybercab that they've plumbed that in particularly, and typically that would not even be an option. Or if it's some sort of drive-by-wire ability that a box could be just taking a signal in from a steering wheel unit that's not really connected to the wheels. But it is interesting to see that they're continuing to do this. I really, we're getting close to mid-year. They were talking about starting to release in the launch cities, one of them being Austin. So we are getting closer. Here we are, the end of month 2. So we've got another 4 months or so to the middle of the year, and we will have to see if they keep it to that timeline or if it pushes into Q3. But it is interesting to see that these vehicles are, driving around the campus at Giga Texas and continuing to do these live tests.
So despite them telling Brian that this is not possible, there it is. And so that gives a little bit more life to our dashed theory that they could have several of these around the country with by-wire steering that they just unclip and call it a Cybercab, or that they have left in and they call it something else. Or my other theory that this is a mule for the something else, because as Brian and several folks at Tesla told us, that is not going to be very fun to drive. It won't be a very Tesla-like experience because it's expected to have no control and get you around town. So it's going to be adequate, but not fast and fun to drive. So this could just be for testing and maneuvering or transport, just for development, or it could be hiding the real cheaper car, which would have to be able to accelerate, faster than a Volkswagen Bug.
Yeah.
or
yeah. So that's my conjecture as well, is that this is most likely a Redwood or Model 2, or as I like to call it, Model Next in disguise. And they want to keep that under wraps as much as they can until the big reveal this summer. And so it's going to be skinned as a Y, or in this case as a Cybercab, depending on what aspects they want to test and which what they're most like. So that's my guess at what this is. And I was surprised that the article didn't mention that as a possibility. It seems like Redwood, they're doing it as much as they've hinted at the $25,000 car coming out, and Musk's even talked about it on quarterly calls, that it doesn't seem to be getting a lot of hype. I mean, we saw this with all their other vehicles before they came out. There was all kinds of speculation about what they're going to be, and Redwood has been so quiet. So I hope it's a big splash this summer sometime. That'll be fun.
I think there's two aspects to that. One, if they overhype it, or the community overhypes it, like we saw with the Cybertruck, there's a good chance that getting disappointed. And then on the other hand is, with it being the entry-level car, most of the enthusiasts are a little further up the scale, so they want to start at an entry-level 3 all the way up to a Roadster.
Right. That would be cool this summer. We could see the Roadster and the Redwood together at a launch event. That would be cool.
I think that the Roadster is probably going to be another year, maybe 2, personally.
Right, but they could still do show it off and have it. Let's see the SpaceX package. Let's see it hover for a little bit. That'd be cool.
Thanks for the $250,000. Here's what we got so far.
as they say to their reservation holders. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It was a hefty down payment to get a reservation on that vehicle, but of course that was before the price hikes happened too. So that vehicle could certainly work out to be a lot more than what it was debuted at, anyways, in the back of that Tesla Semi on stage.
I wonder how many they owe from the referral program back in the day.
At least 15, right?
Oh, there's got to be way more than 15.
Right.
Because most of the influencers got 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're definitely, I would say that I bet you there's probably about 40 or 50 that are owed.
I got to the point where I could have gotten 4% off on it.
Oh, 4%.
Yeah, I didn't quite get to the free one.
I am surprised you don't have that reservation nailed down.
Right. Yes, you and me both.
I can offer you again.
Exactly. Let's move on. And what do we got next here? Yes. Casey's got something about some superchargers again. Let's hear that.
You're flying along. Yes. So I've got some news from Max de Ziger, the head of supercharging, and they showed off some prefab V3 pluses that they were installing in Europe, and people were asking all kinds of questions. And apparently those are also 325 kilowatts. Not that they have a Cybertruck over there, but they do have other vehicles that can charge faster on 400 volts in Europe, just not for Tesla. And then we also saw, so we're looking at like Q2, I believe he said Q2, for the V3 natives, V4 natives, where you've got a V4 cabinet and 8 V4 dispensers or stalls, or however you want to call them. And then they went on further. This happened a little bit later. Actually, this is a separate story at this place that we're looking at, but I've got a video here to show you guys. Let me share screen real quick. Share screen and wait for the box to pop up. There it goes. Click on X. We're gonna share. So Tesla Charging had said Tesla is starting the rollout of a virtual supercharging queues in Q2. This will end confusion about who's next in line, resulting in fewer conflicts at chargers. Virtual queuing starting in Q2 at select sites. Goal is a net customer experience for the 1% cases, approximately 1% cases of wait time. Wider rollout this year if feedback is positive. They're going to have to work on it. There'll be stuff that happens, but that's fine. We expect this just because they've never done it before. We will continue to expand the network 20+% year over year, closely tracking site level demand. So that's a 2-pronged approach. They're going to give us wait queues, and then they're going to put in a lot more stations, which has always been their solution. This was in response to Darren at Tesla Canada showing us this video here.
I was here after this guy.
It's just charging. Just calm down. There's.
Dude, go.
Okay, guys, I have an evidence. Okay, if something. Okay.
You can't even charge that Model X from the other side.
Dude, I was in line.
It's not a big deal. Just calm down.
He was behind.
And so, don't be like this. It's not worth it.
This guy.
It's just a charger.
You saw me, right?
Yeah.
Seriously. He was right there. I was. Seriously.
So yeah, like I said, the Model X can't charge from that side, so I don't get the contention.
That's okay. That's how.
Well, I think he just pulled there because it was someone cut and got in front of him and he took the other spot next to him. But still, this is people behaving childishly. I mean, yeah, okay.
Right there, right after they got done with their altercation, and that's what I was avoiding in Elizabeth, New Jersey, when the Supercharger cabinet was down, knocking out 4 of those V3 stalls.
Do you know where that was?
Does it say?
I didn't see.
It didn't say in the text, and it doesn't say on Drive Tesla Canada's post. But I was waiting over at Elizabeth, New Jersey at Thanksgiving one year. What, 2 years ago now? 3? I don't know. Recently. And there was a black Model Y, an Indian guy. He left, and these folks were arguing. And they continued to argue, and so I took the spot. Black Model X. I look like this. They turned around confused, and they just sat back in their car.
So you saw an argument taking place about people saying that, hey, it's my turn to charge, and you just snuck in and looked in, and you were good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Snooze, you lose sometimes.
That is quite the story. If they weren't busy arguing with each other, someone else could have charged, but you came right in and grabbed it. But
well, I hope this works.
Yeah.
There's a few places that need it. The 1% always ruining it for the rest of us.
Yeah, if that cabinet outage, they had sized it perfectly at that site, and then this weight queue combined with the more chargers, the mothership is getting smarter at the routing. They've got the ripple charging in the LFP packs and warm up faster. They're just attacking this at multiple angles, and even if you want to say, oh, you've got the non-Teslas, they've still got the Tesla app to help balance them out as well. So
if they've implemented this queue and you pull up and you haven't, it didn't know that was your destination, will it allow you to charge if you cut in front of somebody?
No.
Or I wonder how they're going to enforce the queuing. Is it just suggested your turn, or is it?
Yeah, I think the reason it took so long for them to come up with this is it's using that same feature that we got during the holiday update, where when you pull up it says don't use 3A, 8B, and 6 any 6, and that pops up on your screen. I think it's using that same software functionality, and so instead it'll say also, hey, you must use 3A or 3B when it comes available.
That would be nice.
Yeah, but Patrick's point was that if you're not on a trip and you decide, you know what, I'm stopping here to charge just for whatever reason, because I'm going to get a burger and I may as well charge the car while I'm doing that. Would it know that you could be part of the queue? Because of course the car didn't think you were going to stop. Maybe the state of charge didn't make any sense for it to stop, but you decided I'm going to. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of an alert or something to let you know that that you're at a supercharger that requires queuing. Maybe
I don't know that the interface comes up just because you arrive at a supercharger. It comes up as you are navigating to a supercharger,
right? And
you hit the border of the property.
Yeah.
So I would suspect that you get there and you try to plug in, it doesn't let you, and then it says, "Hey, it's not your turn," and then you find out, oh, you're in line.
Right. Yeah. It could pop up and say, "Would you like to get in line? There's a queue here."
Yeah. So I think that would be smart because it still does know the boundaries, and so if you cross the boundary and you weren't navigating, they'll say, "Hey, there's a queue here. Do you want to join it? Or are you here for burgers?"
Yeah. Derek has said you maybe you added to the queue as you get there. So you're saying, oh, you're at the queue. Okay, do you want to join? Yes, no, and then you press yes, and you end up on the queue.
Yeah, they could even just put you at the back of the line automatically, and then if you drive off without doing it, okay, then they just move everybody up one.
A little bit. The last place where they had when I was in Woodbridge, Virginia, we had a pair of superchargers right there, right? One was in the parking lot for the grocery store, and the other was in the parking lot for the movie theater. So if you weren't planning on charging and they put you in queue, you could slow somebody down by whatever the timeout is. If they put you at the back of the line and then you actually roll to the front and you're not even near the car.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but their timeouts are, pretty short. Like the idling fees start after just a minute or two. So if they did something similar where you have 1 minute to plug into the stall, and if not, you get booted, then you're not slowing it down too much.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, but I think it's going to be using that functionality, and then they're going to learn some stuff with how this works. And if you find yourself in this situation on one of the test units, and you find that for some reason it's your turn and the thing doesn't work, remember to go into your app and say, "Hey, problem with the stall. So much faster at addressing this." One of the vandals from the shooting at Patrick's store the other day, they did spray foam inside both sides of the V4 dispenser, so inside the magic dock and inside the high voltage well, I guess high voltage, the 1,000-volt connector, and I think it was like 15 minutes, and Tesla Charging said somebody's on the way to come fix it. They took out all but 2 of the stalls with a can of spray foam.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we see, this is happening more and more. It's unfortunate. Vandalism is never the answer. If you've got a beef with the company, then feel free to voice it, but stop damaging property. It's not yours to damage. And of course, you're affecting the public that has nothing to do with what you're protesting. So it doesn't make sense on many levels.
Yeah, most of them are protesting the ban, so go after him. But and there's a handful of them that actually protesting the company, like, oh, I'm not getting enough for my trade-in. Well, it's a car, it's not an investment. And they
and so you can sell it yourself. You could sell it to CarMax. You could there's lots of other options if you don't like the trade-in value.
Oh, back to my my post while I talk about what happened here. So they just updated the Grok logo on X. The vandal shooter arsonist at your store, they have made an arrest. And, yes.
This is for the Salem Tesla dealership that got shut up. Or not store, I should say, not dealership. But yes.
So while we're on the subject of this, I want to share this other post I got.
As we said, criminals aren't always the smartest group.
Exactly.
Drive up in your non-Tesla car, license plate exposed, start shooting, and just think you can get away with it. You're not so bright.
Right, or do it in your Tesla, and it's even worse.
Yes, somehow that's hypocrisy. You should get extra jail time for that.
So this post I wanted to share was in that chain after the crush car. Yeah, after the crush car. This one here from Tesla calendar. I paid just $39.89 for this Tesla Model 3 long-range dual motor with 217,000 miles on it, complete service history and count. It's a 2020, and it's had all the repairs, but $4,000.
Yeah,
wow.
that's a deal and a half.
Yeah, it is.
Whew.
Dual motor, nice, long range. Obviously, that is pretty cool. There are some great deals on used Teslas right now. There's a lot of people trading their cars in. So
Exactly. So if you're interested, keep your eyes open. Keep perusing those ads for people that have used Model 3s, because there are many deals to be had for sure.
Indeed. I have a hunch we will see this function here in Silicon Valley. Yeah, I think it's going to be West Coast is where we're going to see most of it. Probably at all the stops that Mark visited in California with Russell.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about this. When I drive south, the only time I've ever had to wait is in California, starting at Mount Shasta and then Los Angeles and all over. There was one at the computer museum. I had to wait, and it was I went late at night thinking that would be a great time to go, 10 p.m. or whatever, and there was a line. So yeah.
Yeah, I was in Thousand Oaks and went at 11 o'clock at night, and everything was full. I did get one. I didn't have to wait. I just pulled in, got one, and but there was a lot of people in Thousand Oaks looking for a charge. Now that was before they pushed out the supercharger amounts in that area, but still, it was interesting to see that. Being so used to coming to a supercharger and being the only car there, or maybe the second car there, it was quite a shock to see 16 stalls just full. And
yeah,
the cool thing was even in the spots where I did have to wait, it was everybody was friendly, and it was just like, we're in this club and we all chatted and while you're waiting for your car. So it was really kind of nice. It was not like the "hey, I was in line" crap. That yeah, it was cool back then, and I wish more people would make it like it was in the good old days.
Yeah, usually it's like we all line up and then everybody just keeps track of where they were, except for that one time I was at the U-Haul and one guy was eating dinner. It's like, oh, you're lucky. I'm done. And then he continued to wait for another 15 minutes before moving his car.
Oh, that's annoying. What a jerk.
Yeah.
To say I'm done and then sit there for another 10 or 15 minutes, that's ridiculous.
You're lucky I was done. I was going to wait some more. Oh, thanks, Dirk.
Yeah.
The only place this
Can't hear you, Mark. You're muted, Mark.
Oh, yes. And then Derek pointed out that he has reached 60,000 miles on his Model 3 from 18. And I just crossed over 102,000. Amazing.
You guys drive a lot.
We do.
I don't have my phone, so I can't check, but I'm probably half that.
So how long? 100,000. Like you just keep getting closer and closer, and like, man, it's been like 5 months.
Testing. Am I back?
There we go. Yes,
Okay.
You're back, Mark. We gotta be quiet in the library, so it makes sense.
I got shushed by the librarian. I keep my eye around. What's going on? But I was going to say, congratulations to Derek to hitting 60,000 K on his vehicle, his Model 3, 2018. Derek, you really got to pick it up, man. That's a slow pace. My 2018 now is at man, it's got to be over 129,000, so somewhere in that range. So there's your aspirational goal, Derek.
What are you at there, Mark? 80?
80? No, 129.
129K?
Okay, it's kilometers. Yep, my mistake. Yep. Metric conversion.
Okay, I was gonna say you're halfway to the moon, but now you're only a third of the way to the moon.
I'm way below that. Yeah. Next, want to talk a little bit about the RoboTaxi platform from the eyes of a competitor, which is kind of interesting. This article by Zachary on Teslarati talked with the CEO of Uber.
Yep,
Uber
Dara Koreshahi.
That is an interesting last name. I wasn't going to attempt to pronounce that one. But Dara spoke about his view of the coming ride-hail service. And as Uber has said in the past, they still really would like to connect with Tesla over this. They would rather not be competitors, they say. They would rather Tesla and Uber team up to tackle the autonomous ride-sharing service. Although Dara is starting to, I guess, understand that Musk is not interested in that. He is not looking to combine with others. He's bringing all this stuff in-house for Tesla. So he's creating his own operation center that will monitor the vehicles. He's creating his own team that will keep the vehicles in check. And of course, Tesla is going to and has already designed their own software. So Uber was trying to get Musk to join with them to maybe take on the Uber software and roll it into the cars. But again, I didn't think that was even a starter. I don't know why Dara would believe that, just based on Tesla's past history and how they like to do things themselves, bring industry inside their own walls in order to make a new product or be more competitive. It makes sense that they would do it themselves. And of course, they've got so many engineers that could help them with software. I wouldn't even think that would be even a passing thought for Musk when it comes to creation and deployment of software. I think that's Tesla's wheelhouse. Their number 2 or 3 best item that they can do.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that Tesla would get out of this would be a jump start on the audience. And I don't know why he's surprised by this, because in July of 2018, when I finalized or June of 2018, either way, the summer of 2018, when I finalized my order on my hardware 2.5 Model X, there was a clause in there that said, hey, when this stuff is ready, and next year, as Elon said, 10 years ago, you will not be able to use it on a third-party service.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing he could hope for is something to change, and I didn't see any indication that, other than licensing this out, that they were looking to have anything change. There's a small chance, though, that Uber, if Uber buys 30,000 cars and owns them themselves, Tesla might budge a little bit. but they definitely aren't looking to make any other partnership. They might treat him as a individual operator, but they're definitely not going to partner based on what we see so far.
Right. And I think Dara's being smart about this. He's trying to partner with Tesla because if you're competing with them and they have a superior product, you're just going to crush you. So the hard part about a robotaxi network is not the app. So
if you've done if you've drive, the app is like you do that in your sleep.
Exactly right. So I don't see why Tesla would partner with anybody else on this. The one chance I think that Uber has is if Tesla does roll this out and say, okay, the whole logistics of how do we pay drivers and cover this and that, and Uber's already got all that worked out. They might end up partnering with them only if that aspect of the business becomes burdensome. But that is such a small probability in my mind. But I think Dar's doing it exactly the right way, where he says, okay, we're trying. They don't want to partner with us now. The road ahead is long. So he's not saying, oh, if they don't want to partner with us, we're going to destroy them. You know, that would be dumb. And he's taking the smarter high road and hoping that he has another chance 2 or 3 years from now.
Right. Plus, they do have the existing partnership where they're able to look into your car and you've got a ride. It pops up on the Tesla nav. And if they've got a queue and it's got 800 miles and you've got 200 miles of charge, they're going to pick the next person. So they have to be very diplomatic so they don't jeopardize that.
Right.
But if it continues to go well, hey, you know how hard it is opening, having that robot cleaner. You've got all those stores, but you don't want these dirty cars coming into your store. We've got all these hubs available already, or some things like that. And so that what he's doing now, I think that's a good way. And then also what it appears that Ford is doing when they said, "Oh, we're not going to equip an ADAS on our cheap car." If they later say, "Hey, it still fits in our cheap car. Can we put these on the Tesla app, and then you do everything, and then just give us our VIG?" They still get paid, so it might work there too.
Yeah, Tesla has a lot of work to do for CyberCab. If they're going to be induction charged, they're going to have to build a whole new network, and they can include their vacuum robot system at those new stations. So maybe that's what they'll do, is buying some of those spots from Uber and converting them over. But that's not a partnership. That's a whole different.
Because they started out doing everything themselves. They're like, "This sucks. Here, you want to put them on? Here's everything you need."
Mm-hmm.
And so they're doing great because they were specialized in that. And I do like that the way the cab comes up. It's like a fish, and it opens the doors and like it gets cleaned on by the cleaner fish, closes the doors and leaves.
I do like that analogy of the cleaner fish. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the video of it was from the perspective of the vacuum. It was hilarious. You should definitely watch that. It was on Tesla's official channel. He was saying, "Oh, they feed me well," as he's sucking up crumbs off the carpet, and they leave me presents as he picks up a backpack. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, but again, I see trouble for Uber in their near future. I just see that starting with the Austin market, they might get quite a shock. And I think that Dara kind of knows this because, of course, Dara has been pushing for some integration with Tesla for a long time. He in the beginning was saying, once we get to autonomous vehicles, we'll buy every one that you can produce. That's what they were saying with Tesla producing vehicles, is that if you get to autonomy, we want all the vehicles you can produce, because that means that we don't have to pay a driver anymore. And we just put these vehicles out on the road and they drive for us however long that we want them to. So
that means they don't have to pay surges for the remaining drivers because they'll just send their fleet there.
That's right. That's right. So this is going to be an interesting experiment. And again, it'll be halfway through the year is what they said previously. So let's see if Austin starts off in July, and I am sure that Tesla will trumpet videos and updates and information about this as we get a little bit closer. And of course, you'll be able to download the app yourself on from Apple or Android almost immediately. It may not be available in your area, but there would be you'll be able to see what Tesla's software designing chops look like, because of course you've seen the app already. It probably will be rolled into it somehow and connected with your current Tesla ID or something along that line.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna suggest it probably is the exact same app we have now for the cars, because they've got the car, they've got the house, they've got Summon, they've got Actually Smart Summon, and the Classic Summon I call it, and then they've got Classic Smart Summon, and I bet you the robot shows up in here too, and the diner is already in there too. So I don't see any reason not to put this in the existing app.
If
Yeah,
you have a non-Tesla, do you use a different app or the same app that Tesla owners
You
use?
use the same app. You just swipe over to charge my non-Tesla.
Right.
Or actually, go to your profile, charge my non-Tesla. It used to be a swipe.
And it'll be interesting to see if Green the Only starts seeing some code that's been left out there, some breadcrumbs as to what this app is going to be like. Because as we get closer to the rollout, I'm sure they're publishing that stuff to Apple and Android and keeping it under under a development wrap for this moment. But as we've seen in the past, they do have to leak little bits of information to that live app. And that's what Green the Only seems to capitalize on every time.
Yeah,
Green
and Not a Tesla app. They also do app
they-
breakdowns and share information.
Yep.
But Green tends to get the updates that go to the car, and then that has hidden stuff in it for China and everywhere else. And then Not a Tesla app, they do some too. But the Tesla iOS updates? I forget their handle. But they every update to our app, they or at least the iOS side, they get it, they download it, they break it down, they tell us if there's anything new. That's how we got the pictures of the diner. And
we have a question. I can't even say it. Popco Pone, Howard is asking what RoboTaxi rollout are we talking about? So in the 2024 earnings call, Musk said that they are going to roll out the CyberTaxi service in Austin this summer. I think he said June or late June or something like that. So that they're expected to. That's what they're promising. Since the RoboTaxi itself doesn't go into production until 26, these would have to be Model Ys or the existing lineup. So that's what we expect to see this summer sometime, is that you'll be able to, if you're in Austin and you're in their beta, you'll be able to pull up the app and hail a driverless Tesla to come pick you up somewhere.
Yeah. I'm wondering with that laser up front, if it's gonna say, hey, it's got your username on front. This is for Mark. We talked about Uber with all this, but Austin, not just being the headquarters for Tesla, there's another company there that seems like a direct threat. They're kind of pink. Lyft. What are they going to do? We haven't heard any of their autonomy, anything.
No,
integrate.
Nothing about them even testing autonomy. So again, as this becomes more of a reality, you're going to have a sea change in many different companies and what their thoughts are on autonomy. Many will believe they're behind the 8 ball and have to move quickly, and you'll have others that will keep their head in the ground and say, we've done things like this forever. We're going to continue to do this things the way that we know. So
all of the remaining market as
it'll be interesting to see how the market changes based on this new service coming into Austin.
Yeah, so that's why another reason to agree with what Patrick is saying there. At least even if he's not on the right track, at least he's trying stuff and acknowledging it publicly, so he doesn't scare the stakeholders or the customers. Okay, we're trying stuff for you.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think we will wrap. Let's go to shoutouts. Casey, what do you got for us?
All right, so in 2 days, catch us on the Tesla Life Express Edition 1, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern on this channel right here. On Sunday, catch us over at my channel, youtube.com/Casey Green, for what I call Let's Chat with Casey and Friends. And on there, we it's similar to this, but it's we expand the scope because there's enough here to talk about Tesla for an hour, but I don't want to do that 4 times a week. So I expanded out. I do pick up the crumbs that fall in between here and there. We've started a new thing where we run a X Spaces on the side, so that way, if you wanted to comment on a little onesie twosie story, we have a moderator come in and vet you to make sure We're not gonna have some weird person on space, as well as ready to hit the end button should you say some stuff that just doesn't go with how we roll. And then you can also catch us on X, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, across the place. And then come back again Monday here in the same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern for the Tesla Life Express Edition 2. And then 2 more days right back here live.
Absolutely. Patrick, what do you got for us?
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. And we just had the Portland Auto Show where we had a Cybercab there on display,
Ooh.
which was really cool. Yeah, there's some good photos of that online you can find from the Portland Auto Show. And I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I have an interesting article that we will be talking about on our Friday show, or maybe our Monday show.
Friday.
Friday. Okay, cool. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. And I blog about my future free from fossil fuels. Thanks.
And he's got an X account to match. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up, press that subscribe button, help us out, and we would really appreciate it. And with that said, thanks Lee Moon for the music we use every week, and we will get together next time, and together we'll find out what's happening in the Tesla life.
Stay positive, test negative.